Hi, welcome to Palace to the Call. My name's Stephen, and today I'm going to be talking about the game between Crystal Palace and Liverpool. I've also going to have another video coming out in a little while later on today, where I'm going to be talking about some potential news about a player. It is in the sun, so obviously you want to take it with a large volume of salt, but if it does happen, it does work out, it could be a good short-term, and I stress this short-term issue, it could be a good short-term solution to our problem in terms of upfront strikers and things like that and scoring goals. So stay tuned for that one. It's going to be coming out later on today. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe so that you'll get the notification when that video comes through. And that's going to be a little bit interesting, a little bit of rumour here and there, but we'll go anyway. So I'm talking about the game, of course, yesterday between Crystal Palace and Liverpool, and there was a little bit of a change in the team for the game. You had Gaeta at the back, of course, Klein, Anderson, Gahey and Mitchell at the back. Mitchell was okay after that suspected ankle injury. In front of them there was Chet Doucouré and Sambi Lokonga, and so he was actually next to Doucouré in that midfield, which I think worked quite well, but I'll get back to that in a minute. In front of those we had Elise, Ayew and Schlupp, and then in front of them up front was Mateta. So it was a similar type of setup to what we've had before. 4-2-3-1 formation, so that kind of inverted Christmas tree type of thing, and that's how we lined up against them. To be honest, it was one of those games where I thought we were either going to be really good or we're going to be really bad. It's not going to be one of those in between games, and I have to say, in my video where I did the preview, I did think we would lose the game, so I'm really pleased that that didn't happen. But it could have actually gone the other way, in fact, because in the first half I thought that we started off in a bit of a cagey situation. Liverpool came out obviously with on the front foot, as they're going to, and so it was a little bit dicey the first few minutes of the game, where Liverpool were trying to get the upper hand and trying to pile a bit of pressure onto us. However, as the first half progressed, I thought that we actually started to come into the game more, and we started to play our football, and we were kind of getting the ball forward. And there was actually a period of time in the first half when Liverpool were sitting back and we were passing the ball around in front of them and trying to get behind them, trying to do the through balls, which I thought was actually quite encouraging. I thought that we were playing quite well. So it wasn't all bad at all. I think Elise was instrumental in a lot of that. I think that he actually played really well yesterday, and made a lot of things happen down there on the left or on the right, because they were swapping around. The three in front was doing a bit of a swap around and trying to cause a few problems for Liverpool. However, first half was okay. I mean, we had some good. We had a couple of very good chances. In fact, we had a situation where Mateta hit the bar with one of his hit the crossbar with one of his efforts. Another one that went just wide. We had a couple of decent opportunities, but it was just the same thing as we've had before, which was a bit of a lack of firepower and a little bit of lack of confidence, I think, up front. I think if Mateta had had more confidence, he would probably have put that chance away that he had instead of hitting the crossbar. But this is what happens, when you have goal scorers who are not scoring regularly, then they have a little bit of a crisis of confidence, which is one of those things that's bound to happen. So hopefully that will sort itself out over time. But I think we were a little bit unlucky in the first half not to have gone a goal up anyway. Liverpool had their chances, of course, as well, but most of them were fairly easily dealt with by Gaeta. It wasn't anything that required major intervention from him. So I was quite pleased with the first half, how well it went. Second half, I think, kind of ended up in the same way, that Liverpool came out strongly, as I knew they probably would, and they were working their way, working the ball around, had a bit more, I think, possession in the second half than we did. In general terms, but I still think that we managed to create some things, and we were managing to get the ball forward occasionally. It was just that final third, a lot of the time it was just the final ball. There was a cross in that came from Ayew and Mateta just missed it. There was another one which in the first, I think that was when the ball came in and Schlupp just missed it on his head. So there was a couple of opportunities there when I think we could have scored, but it was just a slight delivery was a little bit late, or it was falling to the wrong person. And that was a bit of a shame, I think, in some ways. But I think if we can get players who can score goals, or we can get the confidence going up front with the players we've got, then I think the goals are there. I think we just need to put them away. It was encouraging though to see that we weren't just sitting back and allowing Liverpool to jump on us. We were trying to go forward, we were putting them under pressure, and Liverpool looked a little bit nervous at times. They looked a little bit like they were there to be beaten, and it was a bit of a shame that we didn't get 3 points. I think we could easily have done on another day. If we had a better striking team up front, I think we could have won the game. But these are some of the things that happened. Eze came on at some point during the game. So did Edouard, and he came on as well. Didn't really cause any major problems. I mean, Eze was trying to get the ball around as he does, but didn't really cause any additional problems for Liverpool, which was a bit of a shame. But overall, I think it was a very decent performance. I thought that we played okay. I think that it wasn't a sit back and hope and break. We did that a couple of times, but I think in general we were trying to play the ball ourselves, trying to get the ball out and get it forward, which was really good. I think looking at some individual performances, I think Klein had a decent game. I think Mitchell had a decent game as well, considering the players they were up against. I think that Klein especially had a good moment when Salah was running forward, and he managed to keep him going out wide so that he didn't come in and cut in and get a shot on goal. He did actually manage to get a shot on goal, but it was a weak one in the end. I think that was some of it was down to Klein's good shepherding him away from goal rather than at the goal. Lukonga, I think I was pleased with him. I think he made some good interceptions. He made some good passes as well. He and Doucouré in the middle there do seem to be working well together. Doucouré had another good game, as he always seems to have. And I think that the back line were pretty solid as well. So I think in general terms, I think we were playing pretty well. It was just again those front players. It was Elise had some really good opportunities, and he was creating a lot of the crosses that were coming in for the players. I think he had a good game. AU was his usual hard-working self, but again didn't quite get that final ball in, or didn't quite make it happen for himself. Mateta was making himself a bit of a nuisance, which was good, obviously, trying to hold up the ball, trying to make things happen, but I just think the way that we played doesn't suit him enough. That is a bit of the issue for me. Sometimes we were trying to play the ball over the top for him. I don't think he's that type of striker. I think he likes to have the ball to feet. He likes to have the time and things like that. And I think that personally, I just think he's not suited to the type of play that we want him to do. I mean, he tries hard, but it just doesn't seem to work out for him. There was a few passes that went astray during the game, as has happened in previous games, but a little bit more hope, I should say, at the actual game itself. I thought we played fairly well, but Liverpool were there to be taken. I think they were there. They weren't up to their usual standards, and I think that we could and should have got 3 points there. But it's one of those things. At least we didn't lose the game. We got a point out of it, and it means that we can go on to the next game with hopefully a bit more confidence again. But obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. As always, I think it's what do you think of the game? Do you agree that I think we're progressing slowly, perhaps, or do you think that something still isn't quite right, and that we're still not the team that we should be? It could change if we manage to get this player, which I'm going to be talking about in my next video. That could change, and it could spark a short-term renaissance for us in certainly in scoring situations. Did we miss Zaha? I think that obviously Zaha comes with that goal threat, which we don't really seem to have. He can kind of make a goal out of nothing, and he can or bring players in to score goals. So he does have that, which we lack when he isn't there. However, I think that in terms of general play, I thought we did okay, and I think that apart from that goal threat, we didn't necessarily miss him as much as we would have done perhaps a couple of years ago. So which is a good sign for us. But obviously it needs to be we need someone to get in and score goals. Otherwise that threat's not going to be there. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments as always, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be coming out later today.